TeknoAXE presents their new W1 RGB headphone stand, which incorporates their proprietary digital 7.1 surround sound technology and sports several ways to plug in your gaming headphones, along with 2 USB ports and a haptic pad to control the 9 different light settings. Click the link below and use the code HMODS to get 10% off when you order direct from exa.net.
Okay, so as you can see, I've changed my clothes. It has now been another dinner's worth of days. The good news is, the RAM came, and these things came. These are the new HMODS custom-made fan grills that are going to go in here. I got 4 of them. I think I'm just going to use one, because I honestly don't know where I'm going to put it in the first place, so... But, we've got all the... Here. We've got the cables run for the 4 fans, and it's looking pretty good. If I get really OCD of it, well, I don't want to say retentive about it, but if I get the time, I'm going to do some super cable hiding of this, of course. But I think last time all I did was hide it up here. This is the one that goes to the fan controller. Other than that, these ones up here, those are pretty well secured. This is actually kind of a neat little thing. This is actually what changes the colors of the fans. It's actually like it's like a reset switch for like that you use for your computer. But when you're doing this, you can change the colors of the fans. Last time I used these, I didn't use this, and I should have told him what it was. But these 4 are good to go. So now it's time to put the power supply in and start running those cables, because we have to do that before we put the motherboard in, because otherwise it's just going to be a flat bitch. And this is going to be interesting. So the first thing we need to do is just start running shit. First, you need to make sure stuff's going to run where it's supposed to be and all this other shit. So we're going to get the power supply in and just fucking try and figure this shit out. This is such a big fucking thing. I didn't take them out last time. In fact, I added another cable, and I'm hoping there's enough length to it, because this is the 4-pin CPU cable, and I'm seriously so concerned about length that I might just use this one instead. This is the problem I had last time. On top of the chassis, it is incredibly difficult to get the CPU cable out and around like this and then into the motherboard. I actually had to lengthen this, which is why you see it like this. I had to lengthen it and make it a little bit fatter. Running 2 cables is going to be even more of a bitch. Thankfully, I've done it once, so I should be able to do it again. I don't think I'm going to try and run it behind the motherboard plate, or behind the motherboard itself, though. And the thinking behind that is, it's just too much of a bitch. If I run it up like that, then I have to do even more yanking and curling. So I'm just going to stick with what I did before and hope for the best. And then what I'm going to do when this is placed is just curl the hell out of it. Just wrap the hell out of it really small, so that I can conserve as much space as possible. I might run it out a bit like this, and then just cable tie the hell out of it, make it as small as hell so it doesn't take up much space. Because that's the issue. I added a problem underneath the power supply shroud. Yeah, oh man, that's gonna be tough. Because Just putting the power supply in there adds like 15 pounds. This thing is so big. So the CPU cables and the drive cables, those are the ones that I really need to worry about first. The motherboard cable is easy. But like for this, I really need to yank on it just so I can make sure, but I need to be careful about it because, well, it is a cable. And so, I'll tell you what I did last time. You want to get in here. What I did last time, and I think this will work for both of them, was I ran it up and around this fan here, and then kind of curled it down like that, and I think I'll be able to do that again without much problem. And these fans have a much smaller case signature than the Corsair fans. They were more, you know, full and square. So I might just be able to run both cables around without much of an issue, and hopefully that'll be okay. That's just, it's a lot of length to try and get up there. I wish we had the money to have custom cables made, because ideally I would want to do what I did with like this, but it is not to be. The only way I could do that would be to like lengthen that hole all the way the hell over here, and then I'm running into the I/O. So we'll see. And for some reason, having them in the build snapped some of the cable combs that were on it that I didn't use broke, which is fine because I don't like using them in the first place, but that was weird. So there's enough length to go up into the motherboard bay. I really wish we had enough length on the cables to kind of go over to the side like this, like I did for Tango? Was it Tango? No, it wasn't. Once you have the panel on, it goes across like this, and it doesn't look terrible except for the fact that you can see it. Okay, well, we're going to screw in the power supply now. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to run this. I'm going to run the SATA, the SATA cable underneath. So this one, arguably, is one of the most annoying because it's powering two drives and it's powering the lights, and I have to get it in. What was it? Oh. SATA, we'll do SATA 4. So I have to sneak it in. I have to sneak it in underneath all this and then put it right about here and then cinch it to the drive bay itself so that I can have the drive, the SATA cables and the power cables coming up and on the back and looking very pretty. Before I even bolt this in, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I should probably be careful with that. This is one of those things where, like, thankfully at this point I've worked on this so many times that I pretty much know, you know, I've seen the forest, I've seen the trees, and I know where everything needs to go. And thankfully, like, I remember where all the cables were last time, so it should be kind of, it should be a little easier. We've got the drives here. Got the drives on this one. And then... Okay, so I don't remember so well. I can't do it the other way because the zip ties on the power supply side of the cable don't allow me to push it through, so I have to go this way. which is fine. Okay, so now we've got the cable comb on here. I can't underscore enough how cool these cable combs are. I don't know another company that does anything like this. This is some pretty cool stuff. I've been in talks with them about making an HMODS one, but I would need to order a whole buttload of them, and a buttload is a lot. So we won't be ordering any buttloads anytime soon. And but that is on the table. This guy's name is Ryan, and he's pretty cool. I did it again!
Yeah. I was looking
So we'll just hide this up here until we're ready to use it. And wrap the hell out of this one. As much as I hate using zip ties, sometimes they are necessary. Ugh. If only to use them when they are completely hidden. Because otherwise, I really, really do my best to try to have them not be shown at all. So when it comes to stuff like this, I'm going to wrap it this way. This way it'll use up less lateral space. So I'm going to wrap it this way. And the cool thing about the aftermarket cables is they're pretty stiff. So you can wrap them pretty tightly and not worry about kinking or anything like that. But do not kink them like you do your headphone cables or anything like that. As a matter of fact, don't do that either, because it's just a way to ruin the life of anything you have that has a wire on it. Wire like keyboard, mouse, headphones, whatever. When you can, coil it, because you're just asking for trouble. The graphics card one, that's going to have to get a nice look to it as well. So these the 8 pin and the 6 pin, these are going to have to get coiled too, because that's a lot of length that I just don't need. And I'm actually glad I took these down, because the 8 and 6 pin on the RX 580 is the exact opposite. So I would have had to take the cable combs off anyway. So okay, let's do these last. At this point, I think I can safely start mocking up where the drives are going to go, so I will put them in. And then what I did was I cinched the cable to the bay itself like that. So now that we've got that figured out, I will go ahead and find a way to run that final SATA cable, that SATA connector right here. That was easy. I just got to find a way to get it in there, so I will take these out. Huh. This is also easy, right here. And we're in business. What I'm going to do after this, though, after everything's nice and tidy, is I have it running with double stick tape, but I'm going to add another length towards the bottom of this fan mount to clean it up a little bit. Now, I just have to be careful not to like totally drag these, but I do want to bring those cables with. And this, like I said, I am not a fan of using cable ties unless I really, really have to. This is one of those things, though, where you want to like, this case is, it's wide, but it's not super wide. So I need to make sure that I can, this thing was not the widest thing to begin with. And trying to run cables when it was just a regular old case, this isn't any better than what it was before. I didn't move it forward or backward. I just moved it back so I could account for the space of the radiator, which is no longer here. So I still need to run this zip tie right here and drag those cables out of the fucking way of the door panel because it is still going to be a fucking bitch. You don't want to have them too tight, but you do want to get them out of the way. And that's... It's not like super tight. Yeah, that's good. It's not super tight, but it is out of the way. And that's exactly what we need. So that's just about flush too. So it's going to be... That's about as much as I'm prepared to go with it without yanking the cables out of the connectors. So we're good with that. Since I'm running only one cable, I'm just going to use a really thin slice of tape. And I'll just put it... Can you even see that? I'll just put it right here down at the top, at the bottom of the fan mount. And there's your cable run. Okay, so... This I will have to run... I think maybe like this. So I'm going to have to find another cable in here to go on along the same run. So this I will do last. I'll probably do that last. I'm going to put that out of the way. This is going to the motherboard. And I should just about... Oh, as soon as I get the motherboard in, I'll worry about it. But I know it's going to go in here. Yeah, right in here, which is good. And then the fan cables from the tower cooler will go through there too, and then run this way too. So this is another thing that I'm going to do towards the end. Okay, and then run it up like that. That's how I did it last time, and it just looks super fucking cool right there. More tape. This is the question where I have to ask myself where the fuck I'm gonna run the lights on this side. And I think the answer to that is I have no fucking idea.